Hey, what's up? Hello, it is Lex at Lex Reads. Welcome back to my channel today. We are talking about the 10 best books that I read in 2025. I read a total of 60 books this year. And of course, we're going to start at the bottom and work our way up. I had a little bit of trouble picking number 10. So I decided to go with What Lies in the Woods, which is by, I forgot her name. Hold please. Kate Alice Marshall. This is like a thriller mystery book. I gave it 4 stars. I thought it was quite fun. This one is following a young woman who 22 years prior, when she was a little girl, her and her 2 best friends, they used to spend the summer days like playing in the woods and embracing the magic of nature until one day when she was attacked. And in that attack, she survived 17 stab wounds and then went on to help put the man that attacked her away in prison for the rest of his life. Decades later, the current events of this story have kind of dredged up all of that trauma and the memories of that experience, and the 3 girls themselves are harboring a few secrets that could really change everything. And Olivia, one of the girls, goes to our protagonist and Cassidy, the other girl, and is like, hey, I think we should come clean about everything. And that leads our protagonist to hunting for the truth that's remained in the woods this whole time. Naomi, the protagonist's name is Naomi. Anyway, it was pretty good. I liked it. Once again, this one I kind of had trouble picking a number 10 because I was kind of like, Number 9, I have Game Changer by Rachel Reed. Hear me out. Okay, first of all, I know that you don't really need to hear me out for this. Heated Rivalry is having her moment. Thank you, Canadian taxpayers. Thank you, Shoestring Budget, Rachel Reed in a Dream. Shout out Hudson and Connor. You know. Do I read romance? No, not really. And I did quite like it. I gave this one 4 stars too. Oh, I guess I lied. This one's also 4 stars. I thought it was quite fun. This one I didn't have trouble putting on the list. Anyway, this one is, here's the thing. I think I enjoyed this as much as I did because it quite literally reads like Stucky fanfiction, where they searched and replaced Steve and Bucky's names with Scott and Kip. It really, really felt like a Stucky AU, which, if you don't know me, I'm a ride or die Stucky girl. Stucky for life. Love that shit. So that was fun. Generally, quite enjoyed it. It's very insta-love, but it didn't bother me. We're following Kip, who's a 26-year-old postgraduate, not student, he just has graduated. He has a history degree, can't have a job, lives at home. He works at a smoothie shop called Straw and Berry. One day, Scott Hunter, a really, really famous hockey player, comes in and gets a smoothie, and then he comes in again, and then again, and then they go on a date, and then they end up at Scott's house, and then they're in a secret relationship. It was fun. I liked it. If you like romance and you like queer romance, I think they're worth checking out. My Heated Rivalry is probably going to be my first read of 2026. It's up next on the docket. I read Game Changer right at the end of the year. I read it on the 27th, so. Number 8, The Eyes Are the Best Part by Monica Kim. Okay, here's the deal. Jiwon is going through some things right now. Her appa has left them. That's her dad. Her oma is falling apart. Her little sister is confused. She is haunted by dreams of blue eyes and questionable urges about what to do with those blue eyes. This book is a delicious, pun intended, little horror story about a descent into madness for a college student who is dealing with familial issues and grief and there's a lot of social commentary. There were a few moments where I was like, you know what, honestly, good for her. I had so much fun. It was a blast. I loved it. If that at all sounds like something you're interested in, a lot of it felt very internal. This felt a little bit like a weird girl book, and I love a weird girl book. This gets to sit on my weird girl book list. Loved her. And we're hopping back out of the serious horror, and we're hopping into like popcorn thrillers, because the next two are popcorn thrillers. Number 7 is The Heiress by Rachel Hawkins. Hear me out. If you liked Saltburn, you might like this one. This, who is it? Was it Emma? Was it Chandler? I don't know. One of the BookTube girlies, her review was, read this if you like Saltburn, but you wished that, what's his name? Barry Keoghan's character. But you wished he was a woman. And that is kind of what this book is. So, decades and decades before the book takes place, Ruby is kidnapped away from her parents. And when she's found, she becomes infamous. And her parents are really fucking wealthy. So she's got like a legacy, right? Legacy. She's a widow 4 times over. She's like got this whole mystique and everything around her. And her son, Cam, wants nothing to do with that shit. He wants nothing to do with it. And when Ruby dies, and he and his wife, Jules, when they go home to deal with the stuff and the funeral and the yada yada yada, and he has this inheritance and he doesn't really want it. He doesn't want anything to do with it. He's like, but you know who does? You know who does want to do with it? Jules. Jules wants it. And we get to watch her kind of unraveling all of the strings and dealing with the weird family secrets. And it's quite fun. I enjoyed it. Number 6 is First Lie Wins by Ashley Elston. This was my first 5-star read of the year. And it was like 14 books in or something. Like, it took me a hot minute to get a 5-star read this year. And this one, to be fair, I don't remember it super, super well at this point. But I do remember the way it made me feel, and the way it made me feel was happy. I thought it was fun. I just thought it was like a fun little book. I had a good time. And so the thing is, this one is another like popcorn, quick, fast-paced thriller. It like reads a little bit more domestic, kind of in the same way that The Heiress does. And this one, we're following a protagonist who, well, let's just say she has an interesting job. Evie goes undercover for Mysterious Mr. Smith, and she has different objectives every time, but it always kind of goes the same way, right? She gets her name, she gets her mark, she learns about the town, she gets a backstory, she goes in, she does whatever she's got to do, she dips. This one is a little bit different though, and she's getting a little attached to Ryan, her mark, whom she's dating. She's like with him. And then one day, her past kind of just shows up on their door. And it's in the, she's got to like stay one step ahead of her past without jeopardizing her future. And it's very fun. I liked it. Number 5, Don't Let the Forest In by C.G. Drews. This one, in my mid-year book freakout tag, this was my like number 1 book of the year at the time. So what, I read 4 books that topped it? Not too shabby. This book is a delightful little, like, folktale, fairy tale-y, horror YA novel that takes place at a boarding school. It's queer. There's cool art. All in all, just totally a vibe. We're following Andrew, and Andrew's kind of also having a weird time. He goes to start school again. The end of last year was not very good, and the start of this one is weird. His sister, his twin sister, is really distant. His best friend, Thomas, his parents are missing. They're just, like, gone. The police maybe think it's Thomas's fault, And, you know, the weirdest thing of all is that there's like Thomas's drawings are coming to life and, you know, like attacking people and shit. They've got to figure out how to stop that. Thomas draws drawings based off of Andrew's creepy little fairy tale stories. It's very fun. The prose is very flowery, but it's very pretty. I liked it a lot. I will be reading more C.G. Drews. C.G. Drews is one of the authors that I read from this year that I'm the most excited to like read more from. So, we'll see. Number 4, Eat the Ones You Love by Sarah Maria Griffin. Okay, hear me out. I loved this book. This was one of my most anticipated reads for the rest of the year. In my like mid-year book freakout tag, I talked about wanting to read this one really bad, and it did not disappoint. I loved it just as much as I thought I was going to. This book, I really, really recommend it on audio. I listened to it on audio at work when I was like cutting things out and stuff, and it is so voyeuristic in a way that I don't know if it would have the same effect if I had read it with my eyes. The audiobook narrators did a phenomenal job. Specifically, the narrator that reads for Baby. We'll get there. It's giving Little Shop of Horrors if it was more menacing and ominous. Alright, so Shel Pine just moved back to her parents' house. Her life's falling apart. Her and her fiance broke it off. She's got no direction. She doesn't know what she's doing. She sees a job advert to work with a florist. And she's like, I could work at a florist. So she applies and she gets the job. And she finds that she really likes it. She has a crush on her boss. The flowers are beautiful. She's like taking pictures and posting them on the internet. She's like got a little niche following. She's like doing pretty good. Unfortunately for Shel, there is just like one little problem with the whole thing, and it's the monstrous orchid baby that lives in the heart of the shopping center, who has an unquenchable taste for human flesh and is obsessed with her boss. And it's fun. I loved it so much. 10 out of 10. Do recommend. Number 3, Knock Knock Open Wide by Neil Sharpson. My like Goodreads review for this one was, once I figured out what the fuck was going on, this was a delight, and that's exactly how I feel. It took me a little bit to get into it. I had to try a couple times. The first time I like gave up 15 pages in. Second time I like gave up 15 pages in. The third time I was like, no, I'm reading this for a vlog. I really want to read it because I really want to like it. I'm just gonna keep going. And I did, and oh my god, it's so good. Like, seriously, it's so good. Okay, so here's the deal. This one is a folklore-inspired story that follows a few women. And so we start with one. There's like 2 timelines. We start with one, right? Right. And she ends up having a really, really horrific, traumatizing night in a farmhouse right after she gets engaged. And I mean like truly the stuff of nightmares. Like, so horrific. She ends up at this farmhouse. She's like, help, and bad things happen. Cut to 20-something years later. We are following Betty and Aisling, who are college students, and they're kind of in love, but the thing is, Aisling is trying really hard to keep Betty away from her family. And the closer Betty gets, the more she kind of gets to see that there's some like weird family secrets stuff going on. And Aisling is pretty sure her weird family secret stuff is connected to this really popular children's TV show that everyone watched when they were growing up. And it's crazy. It's a wild ride. It was so fun. So fun. Yeah, it's like lightly backed in like Irish, like Celtic folklore. And then there's like the like in-universe folklore surrounding the television show. And there's like the dual timeline. Oh, it was juicy. All right, we are up to the final two. Here's the thing. Number two and number one, it's contestable. I feel like I could make arguments either way. That's how much I loved both of these books. Number two is The Lamb by Lucy Rose. And the thing is, here's why I think it's contestable. Because this is the book that I read this year that I think about the most. This book is living rent-free in my brain. I finished it, and I rated it a 4. And then I was like, no, and later I bumped it up. And it was lower on my list, and then I kept thinking about it, and I was like, no, and then I moved it up. And I just think that of all of the books that I read this year, this is the one that's gonna, like, stick with me the most. This is the one that's gonna have the most, like, profound effect on me going forward. This book is a devastating coming-of-age horror novel following Margot and Mama. And they live out in the woods. And Margot goes to school, but other than that, she spends her time at home with Mama, and Mama likes to pick up strays. You know, strays are people who pass through in the woods. And Mama is hungry, like really hungry. And you know the thing that really satiates that hunger more than anything else is taking the strays and then murdering them and eating them. Cannibalism. Here's the deal. This book, I don't know, something about it just really, really hit me, like, profoundly. It's beautiful, and it's haunting, and it's devastating, and it's a little uncomfortable, and I love books about cannibalism, which you maybe could tell by this. This is not the only cannibalism book on the list. There's a lot of consumption on this list. What you gonna do? Man, this book is good. It's about cannibalism and hunger and, like, dark urges and the way that women and females are, like, raised to push down all of the more, like, negative feelings and urges that I think, I mean, not that I'm saying most people have the urge to eat people, but, you know, it's like a metaphor. It's like, you know, we let men be angry and have, like, bad urges, but, like, women are better than that. And I think it's an interesting, like, commentary on that. And then there's also, like, coming of age and queerness and, like, mommy issues and family trauma, and there's just, like, so much wrapped up in there, and it's so good. Sometimes a girl's gotta eat. No one's eating in the last one. Number one is The Haunting of Velkwood by Gwendolyn Kist. Okay, here's the deal. The Haunting of Velkwood is a haunted house story, but it's not a haunted house. It's a haunted block. Decades ago, Talitha, Beth, and Grace escaped Velkwood, their neighborhood, their little block, right before something weird happened. And the weird thing that happened was that everyone there kind of just became a ghost. It's like there's a veil over their home, and everyone inside is, like, gone. And they got out, but, like, what? You know, like, that's weird. And everyone who studies, like, the occult or the paranormal is, like, a little bit obsessed with the Velkwood vicinity, because how could you not be? That's insane. And here we are, and Talitha gets a call. And the call is about the Velkwood vicinity. And this group of people got, like, a research grant or something to go in and look at it. But the thing is, only 3 people can go inside. And Talitha, her mom and her sister are in there. And she can finally get some answers and put some things to rest. So she decides, you know what the hell, I'm gonna do it. And the rest of the story is trying to figure out what happened, why it happened, if and how they can fix it. And it's queer, and it's sad, and it's so beautiful. I loved it. Those two, I think about them all the time. They're so good. You should read them. If they sound at all like something you'd like, can recommend. They're so good. You should read them. So good. They're beautiful. They're incredible. They're amazing. Those are the best books of the year. Those are the best books of the year. Here's the deal. I'm going to post a handful of videos that are wrap-up videos because I only talked about a handful of the books that I read last year. I read 60. I probably talked about 30 of them. So there's a lot you don't know. So we're going to talk about all of them. I'm going to tell you about the 9 worst books that I read. I'm going to do like a end of the year tag to answer some like general questions. And I'm going to tell you about my reading stats. And I'm going to rank all 60 of the books that I read. I'm going to give you a list. I'm going to tell you which ones are the best and which ones are the least best. I can't decide yet if I want to tier rank them or if I want to not tier rank them. Incredible. I was going to say just like number them. A tier ranking might be more fun, but I think a straight ranking would be more informative. I'll think about it. And then I also am going to tell you a little bit about my reading goals for 2026. So what? That's like 7 videos or something? 6 videos? They're coming. Promise to you. Anyway, see you tomorrow maybe, because I'm going to post all of them quickly. Soon. We're going soon. Okay, ready? Bye. Thank you for hanging out with me. I'll see you soon.